episode 5. We're gonna be talking about, like the new year coming up and new year, same God, and we're gonna. I don't know what else to say.
So count on the screen of how many times Ethan repeats it. Like he has said episode 5 like 4 times. He said okay like 7 times.
I'm just really laughing about how you said the new year coming up as if it isn't New Year's Day for this one.
Oh yeah.
And then he said, "I hope you had a good New Year."
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, "The New Year."
Oh god. Well, it's getting dropped New Year's Day at 10. So
Yeah.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, but then
New Year's Eve is
Sunday.
last year.
Yeah.
Oh.
January 1st is the first of the year.
Yeah. Never mind. Okay.
This is a mess.
All right. So let's I'm so
way.
So
stuck.
New Year, same God.
Yes.
That's what
That's
this
our
episode
topic.
is about. That is our topic.
Wow.
Obviously, we all were up a little too late last night.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's wild.
So all right. So
So what does that mean to you?
Hmm.
Same God. New Year, same God.
for me, sorry, you go ahead.
Go, Caleb.
We just
No,
at the
you're
same
fine.
time. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. For me, I think that it is just darn. I had it and it's kind of leaving me. It's coming back. Hold on. The thought that it's a new year, but God's still the same.
Mhm.
He still operates the same way. He's not going nowhere. He's not leaving. He's still the same God. The same God who brought you through last year is going to bring you through this year, whatever that looks like. So that's what it looks like to me.
Okay.
I think for me, it's a lot of I think about where I was beginning of last year
Mhm.
and knowing where I am now, to realize that he's always been there. It was the same God that was there. It was just me that had to change.
Mm.
And so going into this new year, it's been a crazy difference. And I know that this year is going to look so much different than last year. But it's not because he changed. It's because I changed and grew my relationship with him. And just knowing that it's comforting, knowing that he brought me through last year, and good or bad, he's going to bring me through this year. So
That's good.
That's good.
For sure. For me, man, kind of like what you were saying, just we still serve the same God. We still serve the same God that has brought us through what we went through the previous years and everything like that. And man, I'm really looking forward to next year. I got some big plans and big goals, and if they're not in line with the Lord's will for me, then it's not going to happen, which is fine. But yeah, that's just what it is. New year that's coming, but we're still serving just the same God.
I feel like for me, it's you hear people put New Year's resolutions and what they want to grow in and what they want to change in, and realizing you can't put that on him because even if it's not what we want, it's what we need every single year. So I could be I want to, do this, or I want to be able to do that, but he's gonna do it regardless. But he's gonna do it the same way that he did it last year. Maybe not look the same, but the amount of his faithfulness isn't gonna change. You can't be I hope God is more faithful this year, or I hope God looks out for me more this year, or I hope he shows up more this year. But he's the exact same, which is comforting because it's not. You can't be oh, I hope that he showed up the same way he did before. He will.
You didn't love me more last year.
Right.
It's wild.
Right. I hope he lives up to the expectation I have from last year. If he's not as close as he was last year, it's not him who moved, it's us.
Wow.
So understanding that a new year doesn't, even if you put new expectations on him, he has the same capability to meet them that he did the year before.
That's good.
Dang, y'all are spitting.
Mm.
Okay.
So, I don't know. This one was kind of a hard one to come up with because, I was thinking Courtney was New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. But God never changes. Same God. Well, yeah, same God. It's us that change every year. So it's almost I want to kind of flip it and be new me, same God this year. You know what I mean? Because it's going to take me to continue to change with the same God that I have. And that's what my goal is for this year, is for me to grow and me to change and it be a new me this year, not just a new year.
Yeah, that's
Good.
good for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna bounce off what like Courtney said. Like, I saw this post the other day, and it said, your the next year is going to be determined on your relationship with God. Like, so I can like go into this year, next year thinking like, or going to like this year thinking like, man, like this is really my year. Like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get this done. Start this, but I can say that only so much, but like if my relationship with God is not at the spot where it needs to be, then like how am I going to put this? Like, what are the chances of it actually getting there? What are the chances of it actually being my year type thing? So
To add to that, all of those things can still happen to you. It can still happen for you. Still be great, but will they be fruitful if you're doing them without the Lord?
yeah,
You can still accomplish great things, awesome things for yourself, but for the kingdom, no. If you are
Yeah,
only
that's
doing
good.
it through you, that's it.
that is good for sure. So what are y'all? We're gonna, like pull back a little bit, but like, what are your guys' like New Year's resolutions / like goals for this year? If you guys have made any or anything like that.
I don't do resolutions for the new year because what's the point if I'm not going to do it any time, any other part of the year? Why would I think that I'm going to?
Why would I try to do it now?
I made the New Year resolution. I'm going to go to the gym. Well, I'm still paying for that gym membership, and guess what?
Yep.
That's
Right,
wild.
so I don't make New Year's resolutions. I kind of look out and I'll be like, okay, the next 4 months or the next 3 months, these are my goals, and I'll do stuff like that. But I do that year round, so it's not just at the beginning of the year, because at the beginning of the year it's stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel like if you kind of like do it for like X amount of months, it's easier to kind of do like a check-in on yourself because you kind of remember what the goals you've set for yourself, and it's easier to be like, okay, I know where I was at in January. It's now March. It's a little bit easier to kind of like
That I'm doing this forever now that it's 1 year.
right. Like you can kind of gauge how you've been, what difference has it made, what your days are now looking like, what your mental state is like, your physical state, like all that. It's a little bit easier if you kind of
Like break it up.
that,
Yeah, instead of going like the whole year. Yeah.
Man. So what were some of you guys' highlights of this past year?
That's a good question. Let's see. I started a new job.
Okay.
It's been treating me pretty nice. Let's see. I got a new car last year.
Okay.
That was pretty nice too. Still in debt a lot, but it's getting me from point A to point B.
Okay. All right,
Let's
Ethan.
see.
Okay.
Those are like the super big ones that are like popping up off the top of my head.
We went to Tennessee with them, and all that.
Oh
that's
yeah,
irrelevant.
we went to Tennessee.
You went on your first adult vacation.
I did go
We
on my
started
favorite.
the podcast.
We
and
did
you just,
start the podcast.
Yeah, no, I got a job in a
What
car.
is going on with me?
That's all I got.
We
It was a big
partied.
year,
We partied
yeah.
hard, man. No, yeah, went to
You remember
Tennessee.
Tennessee, you didn't, so maybe you partied hard.
Well, there was a couple nights. I'm just kidding. So I went to
Podcast gets
Tennessee.
canceled before
Yeah,
it
right,
starts.
exactly.
Wow.
Went to Tennessee. That was like my first like real like adult vacation. I say adult vacation like without my parents and everything. And when I was like younger, like I didn't literally unsuper. I got to do whatever I wanted, and it was great. Because like when I was younger, we didn't go on vacations. Like our
I think we need
vacation.
to clarify that we all are adults in this podcast.
Yes.
No one is a child,
Yeah.
just so we're clear.
I was an adult
He's
when we went, and I'm still an adult
child.
now. Like,
We're all over 18. That's it. That's all.
He's the youngest.
went to
out of
Tennessee.
us.
Went to Tennessee twice. I went to Tennessee
Yeah.
with Rocky. We went to go see.
We went to Smokefest.
We went to Smokefest, and he almost died.
What's Smokefest? For the people who don't know what Smokefest
Smokefest.
is.
Yeah, let's clarify on that.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
let's
wait,
clarify
wait.
on
Everybody
that.
should just, if you want to know what
Guys.
Smokefest is, you should look it up.
Let's clarify this even more. He says we went to Smokefest and Rocky almost died, and Kayla says, "What's Smokefest?" Not, elaborate on Rocky almost died. Elaborate on Smokefest.
Well, for the
So-
people who don't know what Smokefest is, they say, "Oh, we went to Smokefest and Rocky almost died."
Yeah, because that could be taken a couple of different
Yeah.
ways. So Smokefest was a thing that Indie Tribe, which is like a Christian rap group, they like organized and put together. They rented out this big old building and they just did concerts like, what was it?
2 days.
Like, 2 days of just concerts and everything. And it was great. Absolutely awesome. Mosh pits and just a lot of like good music and everything. And it was really, really fun. Good food too. They had food trucks. But, I'm sure other stuff will pop in my head, but anybody
His
else?
only highlight was getting a car and starting a job.
Yeah.
And having debt. Don't forget that.
Oh, I do have
Okay.
that. But yeah, we also started the podcast. Like, that's so crazy. Anyway. Next.
You're
Next.
killing it. To start from the beginning of this past year, I got a dog.
You did.
Nova. She just turned 1 in December. Super cute. I started doing more with my job and more of a leadership position. We started the podcast. There was a time where we were here for like a week, just here praising the Lord and being in the Lord's presence, and that was amazing. I can't wait to get back to that, to experience that. We went to Tennessee. That was pretty great. Most of us went to Alive, which is another Christian festival that happens in like July, I want to say, and that's pretty great. I think that's it. That's all that's really coming to my brain right now. I feel like there's more, but I'm also like, they're not the highlights for me. So
I feel like, kind of like starting back from the beginning. My like first biggest thing I would say, like toward the end of March, beginning of April, like on, I received newfound freedom, gained happiness this past year that I've never known.
Amen.
Have
Yeah.
learned to love in a way that I've never known. I feel like it kind of helped create stronger bonds within people I already knew, but being able to open myself up more and experience things in a way that I've never done it before was crazy. I'm in a relationship, and that was something that I never thought would happen.
Imagine I was like, boo, tomato, tomato.
Everyone clicks off the video.
I said this our
No
first video
way,
that has a
no.
bunch of dislikes.
Once you're in a relationship, you're kicked off the podcast.
Yeah,
This is your last episode.
Okay, guys.
So for our episode on the 8th, it's just the four of us, just like,
Hi. But that
wild.
was definitely something I never saw coming anytime soon.
Oh, need a man.
And
expose. Love that.
and I mean, obviously the podcast has been something that I never thought I would do, but it's been a lot of fun, and I feel like it's taught me things. As we sit here, I'm hearing things. We're all hearing things for the first time, and sometimes even as I'm saying something, I'm like, oh,
Can't believe I was going to say that.
I didn't know that. But yeah, I mean, it was a good year for me. It was, so.
But yeah, Ethan already went because he only set the car.
And dead. Don't forget that.
And dead. Okay, let's think. Back in spring, I started a job using my degree, which I'm an occupational therapy assistant, which no one in the world knows what that is, and that's okay.
It's okay.
But I work at charter schools with kids, and it's great most of the time. But I did really, really enjoy it. I moved out. I like Natalie said about like the feeling of love that like you never expected, or like knew that you were lacking out on, I guess. Like to have known Jesus my whole life, known of Jesus my whole life, to then
That's good.
know his heart. Like if you would have said the beginning of this year, I was just talking to my roommate last night about like, we were just talking about this year recap. Because we're doing like a Christmas thing at our house on Friday. And we were like, if you would have told me this is what life looked like at this, like last year, this is what
That's
life would look
wild.
like this year. And we're having a cookie making party on Friday, and I can eat all of it. And this time last year, if I had even a bite of gluten, I was done for forever. We went to a summer retreat one time, and there was flour in the taco seasoning, and I could not leave the room the whole entire day.
That's so
It
sad.
knocked me out. But we don't have to make any substitutes on Friday. So,
Yeah.
did that. And obviously the podcast, Tennessee, Alive. I went to Colorado. First time I like road tripped out west. That's probably the main stuff. I don't know, there's been much else. Say much else, like we haven't all just like listed like
Yeah, I haven't.
like yeah, nothing big.
There really is more too.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like anyway.
There's so much like in between, but I feel like those are the things that like when we think about 2023, that's what we're gonna think about.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, we went on winter retreat.
We did go
Yeah.
on a retreat.
Yeah, but well, some of us.
every time we say some of us, that means
It's all
everyone
of
but
us but
Natalie.
Yeah. Yeah, we went
That's
to winter
so sad.
retreat. That was my first winter retreat as a youth leader, wasn't it? Man, what a time!
Yeah, last
man.
winter retreat you were in high school, buddy.
I know.
The one before you did a devotion because you were a senior.
I did. You're right.
That's
Oh
wild.
my gosh.
Mm.
I'm sorry. Last but not least,
Dun, dun.
Highlights of last year. Let's see. January, February, winter retreat, which is always a time. It was definitely a new experience of stuff.
Yeah.
As a NGP I had to deal with.
What's NGP?
Next Gen Pastor.
Next Gen Pastor, for all the people who didn't know at home.
Or in your car.
Or in the car.
Or at work.
Or at work, yeah.
Or at Granny's house. It's fine.
We love Granny's house.
March, April, beginning of April, definitely found.
It's just like April.
April. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
just
April.
April mid. Just
Man, April.
boy, oh boy.
I found definitely a whole new me. Bruises and all,
Mm-hmm.
which was a time. And then what's crazy is we've all said it, but Tennessee for me was more than just us going. It was the first time that I personally have went on a vacation probably in 10 years that I didn't have a kid to have to worry about. Not like my own kid, but every time I've ever taken time for a vacation, it's been for some type of youth event or something. There's always been somebody I had to take care of, and that was something nice for me. I mean,
Just a
kind of
little break.
selfish. Yeah, it was nice that I didn't have to worry about nobody getting back but me. What a time. May, June, July, Alive. July, new career path. August, actually.
Yeah.
August 1st, July 31st. Last day. Anyways, new career path. And then podcast, and then just a lot of transitional stuff this year for me. It's been kind of weird, but good highlights.
Yeah.
So
It's good, man. The Lord has definitely been working. What?
it's crazy to
I'm
me
about
to
cry.
think
It's okay.
that it's already January, and it feels like for me, the stuff that I went through in April, it feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
It feels like Tennessee was just yesterday.
Yeah,
Like
it
literally,
does.
there we go. Literally.
What do we?
One time.
He was
All right.
literally crying.
You wanna voice what's going
It's
on?
just to hear. Because we're going to look back on things like this when things aren't going the way that we think that they should be going in this upcoming year. We're going to have all of these moments to think back on and be like, man, look at how good the Lord was then. And I'm so sorry. To think of just, how good the Lord is, even in those moments. And like, remember when he was good then. Remember when he was good back in April. Remember when he was good back in June and in July. And to think that he won't do abundantly more now. It's okay. I'm fine. This is okay. Keep going. I'm not even here.
But what's crazy is that we look back, like for me, April. That was a big month.
Yeah.
April, I look back and realize how good he was then, but he was still the same goodness, the
Yes.
same good.
Yeah.
May, June, July,
Yes.
August, September, October, November.
He was still the
December.
same good February, January.
Yes.
Right.
It just took for April. It just
Yeah.
took until April to see that.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's wild, man.
I was thinking earlier when Ethan was asking like New Year's resolutions and stuff, like because I don't do New Year's resolutions either because I feel like one, like Rocky said, what's the point? And two, I don't see the point. Like I never am like, oh, I'm gonna follow through because it's New Year. Like
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
another day on the calendar that suddenly starts a new year. Like what? That doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
But I try to like be like, all right, like and recap like we just did. But then I'm like, all right, so like how are we gonna top it this year? And like next year, like if you would have told us last January this is what we would be doing, and that this is the goodness that we would have seen, and that all of this would have happened.
I would have told
But-
you that much.
Yes.
Ever loving
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
next, I can't wait for like future years when we can look back to this
To this
and
episode.
be like,
Like last week's
man, we thought we had tapped into like the ultimate
Wow.
goodness.
Wait.
Like that was just like right on the surface, like just prepping us for this, or because this was a good year.
It was.
But do we really think that it stops here?
No.
Do we think
That
we've
this is the end. It's not
peaked
going to get
here?
no better than this.
Right. Like, man, we tapped into it. I'm so glad that we have felt the love of the Lord now. Like, all right. Like, are you
Like
kidding
there's
me?
just so much more to come.
Yes.
And like
We're just killing it.
I'm just giggling. It's
Now that's
fine.
now she's gonna
Yeah.
start laughing.
yeah, because there's so much more to come. Like
Wow.
because I feel like what this year was. I'm gonna speak for me on this aspect, but
Speak your truth, Ethan.
yeah, but well,
Like, in unison. I was going to pick mine up and it was going to match, so I stopped.
He said, I'm not doing that right
Sorry.
there.
Anyway, I got this.
so I'm gonna speak for me on this aspect. I feel like this year it was a pruning season for me, and because beginning of the year into like halfway like into the year, like there's been like people that I've had to stop like talking to, and there's like I left a job that I was making like almost triple the amount that I'm making now at this job, at the other job, but I also was not happy. I was working crazy hours. I was not good there, and like there was just so much things going on, and towards like the beginning of the year. Then like compared to now, like how everybody's been saying, like imagine like someone telling us all together like a year ago, you guys are gonna have a podcast, you guys are gonna see this, and this, and this, and do this. I would be like, you guys are
Yeah.
crazy, and that's because there's times where sometimes for me personally, there are certain days where I wake up, I'm just gonna get through the day, and that's it. I don't take each day for what it is. Like every single day is a miracle, and there's something that can be done, and there's something that there is to do in each day. And there has been multiple times like this past year where I was just like, yeah, I just got to get through this because I don't like being in this spot. Like I was like financially like struggling from April to August, and it was really, really bad. Put me in a terrible mindset and everything. But like leading it all the way up until now, it's been things being stripped off of me and new things being like thrown into my life. Like I have never been closer to these people. Like I never would have thought I'd be close to her. Like being able to sit and have a conversation alone, like wild. Like, but just like I'm growing closer to these people that are around me now, and I feel like the people that I have in my life now are who I'm supposed to have in my life in this season, in this moment, in this coming year. And I say all of that to say this is like we look back and see all the great things that the Lord has done, and that's because life is lived forward. We don't live life backwards. You know what I mean? If we live life backwards, we'd only see the things of like, okay, I did this yesterday, I did that yesterday, instead of facing forward and like, this is what God has prepared for us. Like, because who knows like what could happen like this coming year. Like, I feel like next year is going to be awesome because it has been a preparation year for me. It feels like
So next year.
You mean
this year. Sorry, I keep on
This
saying
one that we're
that.
in right now.
Okay, so here's a question: what are some of like that you're wanting to share? Some of your goals that you have for yourself this year.
I am going to be cracking down on saving money and getting into a spot where I'll be able to move out by the end of the year at the latest.
Same.
Yes.
Yup. We're real adults.
Me too.
Oh, we're real adults. Anyway, so yeah, I want to be able to get to a spot where I can move out.
Again, I say, may the Lord provide.
Yeah, exactly. I want to get to a spot also. Man, like we're supposed to be like serious right now.
They should know by now.
I know. I'm
Oh,
just
but I am
kidding.
serious. Don't you worry.
I want to be able to get to a spot where I can live fully, like complete fully in the calling that God has for me, and not let anything hold me back or anything like that. And yeah, that's like just a sum up of the goals that I have for myself for this year. So.
One goal I have this year is to be more authentic. I'm finding myself in the Lord and recognizing who He's created me to be, so living more through that and not through the Kayla I wanted to portray. So, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like one of my like main goals is learning how to build my prayer life, and just like my personal time with the Lord. I feel like that is always like what I'll get hung up on. If something's gonna start like a bad pattern for me, it's my laziness in doing my reading, because I will sit down and if I don't know what I should be reading or what I should say, I'll get overwhelmed and I'm like, you know what? We'll come back to this later. And then I never come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, like my big goal is just kind of like learning how to sit. And even if I don't, like, because I'm always like, oh, I have to. No, I don't always have to be reading something. I don't always have to be saying something. Like, learn to shut up sometimes. Just sit and listen. Like, you're not going to get answers if you're.
No.
Yeah.
Princess
Like,
Diaries.
you're like,
Shut up and listen.
Right. But, like, you're not going to hear anything. You're not going to get answers
Mm-hmm.
if all you're doing is
Just
creating
yapping.
noise. Yeah. Or filling the space.
Creating noise. Wow.
Yeah,
If all you're doing
just
is
creating noise
Wow.
and filling the space. I will always have like something, either music or podcast or TV or something playing. I'm having to learn, like, my mind used to be a scary place, and through the Lord, it's not anymore.
That's good.
gosh.
And
That's good.
and I'm learning how to navigate that now. Like, it's
Dang,
okay to
son.
sit in the silence. It's okay to just listen. And
That smacked me in the face.
I feel like that's been a journey I've started, and I plan on continuing that into this year.
Amen and amen.
That's so wild. Before anyone else goes, like that really, dude, my mind, I know, but like my mind used to be a scary place and now like my goodness. Cause it makes me like open my eyes and like become like so like grateful and thankful because from like October until like February, it's all like cold and nasty outside. And usually, like mentally, it is not good for me. Like I call it like my seasonal depression or whatever, and it is not good. And like this year, it's not been like that. Like I have not been in that spot where I'm sitting on my ground in my bedroom, just looking up at the ceiling, just listening to no music, nothing going through my head, just blank staring. And because like I'm so like feeling not good type thing. And man, it's just so wild. Like I'm so thankful. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. You can go ahead now.
I feel like the goals that I've like been working on like the end of like 23 like haven't been like completed yet. Like it was like I had a set and then like I'm like Rocky, it's not like okay, it's New Year's, set a new goals. Like it's like okay, like what are we continuing still, like one continuous thing. But it's been very similar to like being intentional with my like reading time and with my I feel like I've learned I have like a 40-minute drive to work and I've learned how to just like sit in the silence with that, and like it's some of my like favorite times of the day sometimes until like drivers are annoying, but you know. But just being able to like sit in that. My work schedule is getting a little bit more consistent, so like I can like get like all right, I'm up at this time, I have enough time for this, and there's no excuse of like, whoa, yesterday I had to be at work at 10 and today I had to be at work at 8, so like no, like, and even that, it's not an excuse. Like getting the like priorities of it in check. I don't feel like I have like, I've been trying to work on my like setting expectations for myself. So this year I feel like without it being like a lazy excuse, like I'm trying to work on not going into it with I have to accomplish this, this, and this, or I didn't accomplish anything this year type of thing. Like every other year has been like, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to make sure I'm doing this. And like I have like goals of like get more intentional with my word. I'm gonna be going with benefits at another job and like stuff like that. But to be like I moved out now, that was a goal from last year, but like I'm not to the point of like, oh, I need to be in like a bigger home. Like you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
No, that makes sense.
I need to continue what I started last year, but it's not the point of I don't feel like I've put the pressure on myself of if I'm not doing this, this, and this by February, it's going to be a terrible year. You know, and like I was kind of in that before of, okay, it's a new year, you should have this together by now. But that's not how it works. And learning that even though it's the end of the year and my like reading time, I haven't figured out an exact pattern of if I like what to read every morning or that, like, it's okay. It's the end of the year and that's not figured out and that's okay. Like that can be worked on next year. So just like continuing that mindset of if stuff takes time, it's okay.
That's good.
It's not a race; it's a marathon.
Right. So I have
Never heard that.
Sprint.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew it.
I was like, I thought a marathon was
It is.
It is.
Yeah. So just the balance, I guess.
I really don't have a lot of goals for myself this year. Kind of like Courtney, there's things that I just started towards the end of this year that are still from last year are going to continue into this year. And they're just going to be goals that kind of just keep evolving. And they're all just kind of weird little things like getting my truck paid off. Like that is a goal for this year. And it'll happen. But, and then just like being more, a goal is being more intentional with what I do. And just kind of letting other things go. And that's stuff that I started doing towards the end of last year. So that's why these goals are all going to be just kind of flowing through, I think. Man. What a time. So
Did it again.
what is, like, do you guys have like a word for this year for you, or like, this is my theme for this year? You know, this is like my go-to phrase for this year. Do you guys have anything like that?
What a time. Like, I'm going to let someone answer.
I
I'm
almost
kind
said-
of confused.
So I get what you're saying. And there's been one that started like in December. Well, it started earlier, but I wasn't fully grasping it until December. And then I've been like, so it's for such a time as this. It's been my like theme recently. And I don't realize how relevant that is until I was texting a friend the other day that I've had since preschool. And she was going through like stuff with the church, and we were like praying over the phone and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, for such a time as this. And she was like, huh? And I was like, we met in preschool for such a time as this. We've stayed in contact for such a time as this, like to be able to like fight the wars for such a time as this. You know, we had this past year that we had for such a time as this. We were at the jobs that we were at for such a time as this. Like everything, you know, we're at this church for such a time as this. And you don't realize how things line up until it's the time to like use them.
So you look back to the phases that you were
Yes,
with.
and you're like, oh, I went through that for this. So trying to, that's honestly probably one of my biggest goals, like now that I'm saying it, is recognizing the seasons and that they have a purpose, and then recognizing when I'm in a new season that the other ones are what pushed me to this season. So each one still has a purpose.
Because you said it in a previous episode. I can't remember which one, but you said like we're getting pushed forward as much as like we're running back. Like if we're trying to like run away, wait, hold on.
I don't think that was me.
No, it was. I remember it.
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm glad everyone knows but me.
The Lord is, he's always around us. So as long as we're continuing to like walk forward and
run
walk
from
toward
him.
him, he will still be behind us, pushing us into our next.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
That's what you said.
How do you don't remember that? That wasn't it.
Episode
You don't remember
Here I am thinking real hard about something I could have said like that.
No, I
It's
swear
just-
you said something like that.
She did.
Well, I'll have to go back.
Maybe
and
we're
watch it
both
again.
crazy.
In their dreams, you said.
Right. Ooh.
Maybe I said something like that, and that's just not
Content
how
we're
I
going to have just an episode of Allie and Ethan.
going back and forth about something I possibly maybe said.
No.
They're going to be commenting, "Yeah, Kayla, you said that," and I'm like, "Wow, I just forgot."
They're gonna put like the episode link with like the time. and everything
Right.
like
That just means it wasn't for me to remember. That was just a little nugget for you guys. So
Yeah, I guess you guys need that. It's expose yourself.
it's just for you guys. Love that.
Anyway, let's move on.
I don't remember any.
So kind of the phrase that I have is I am. That's kind of what has been stuck with me is I am. And what's crazy is if you just take that, like, it's so many different aspects that I can do that. Like I am fill in the blank with whatever it is, but there's so many things that when you flip that around and he is my provider, it turned around to having God say that to me, that I am is kind of where.
It's good.
Oh, okay.
You said
I'll
you
go.
had yours.
Yeah.
Right.
This was actually like very, very recently that I got this. But we watched me, Rocky, and then another guy. We watched the movie. Well,
Some
the
random
other guy.
Another guy.
The other guy was
some random guy.
yeah, the person she's in a relationship with, her boyfriend. There we go. Gosh, dude, what's wrong with me? Anyway,
Twist when the episode comes
let me
out.
just get back.
No way. We're like that did not age well.
We're watching it badly. We can just bleep that all out.
So,
Okay.
Cut up the whole section now.
No.
what was it called? The Shift.
No way.
It was. It's called The Shift, and the people who made the TV show The Chosen, Angel Studios, they made the movie. But it was really, really good. Recommend you all watch it. But anyway, this verse came up at the end of the movie, and after I read it, huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Okay.
You keep going. You're good.
After I like watched it, after like this verse like pop up at the end of the movie, and I like it smacked me in the face, like it was done, because I feel like it was something. It switched something in me. I can't even explain it, but it was so wild. Anyway, it's Job 42 verse 5, and it says, "My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you." So I mean that just kind of goes back to what I was saying about the pruning process that I've been in. That I had to stop doing this, start doing this. Had to stop talking to these people, start talking to these people, and just like the ups and downs, man. Of like, yeah, it's just I don't know. That's something for me personally, and it's that's what I'm gonna be sticking with for this year. But
I don't have one for this year yet, but I can tell you my one for last year. Several years ago, Pastor Mark preached on praying for apples. How we, in our prayer life, will pray and say, "Lord, send me apples. Lord, send me apples. Lord, send me apples." And then when pears pop up, we'll accept those because it's still fruit. And one thing he said was apples over pears. If you are praying for apples, keep praying for apples until they show up. Do not settle for less than you prayed for.
dang,
So
that's good.
it was. I got a whole little painting in my room that I made one day at work,
Really?
and it's just hanging up on my wall.
Is it just an apple?
No, it is. They guided us through a painting, and I didn't like it, so I just wrote over apples over pears in like white paint. So
Nice.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
that's mine for this last year. When I get a new one, I'll let you guys know.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of the same way. I don't have one yet for this year, but I think the one that I had for last year is still like relevant for me now. And it was actually a word that was given to me. I remember I had been prayed over and gotten some deliverance, and I had someone. They were like, "I feel like I need to tell you the word that keeps coming to my head is precious." And they asked me, what does that mean to you? And I was like, I don't know. And they were like, what's the first thing that pops in your head when you think, like, what is precious to you? And of course, my dog. My dog was the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, my dog, like, she is, I love her. Like, she is everything. And they were like, okay, so the way that you feel about Ari, your dog, that is the way that God thinks about you. And they were like, does she irritate you? Are there things that she does that will get on your nerves? Are there times? And I was like, well, yeah, okay, but do you ever stop loving her? Is there ever going to be anything that she can do that's going to cause you to leave her, get rid of her? No, I love her. She is precious to me. And so I was told to do some research and reading on the word precious and realize I am precious to God, and realize that He loves me and there's nothing that I can do that's going to change that.
Yeah.
And so that was like a big word for me this year, was just precious. I am precious, like I am. And so, yeah, I don't know what this year is going to bring, but that was my word last year. So
It's really good. Did you say yours?
Yeah.
yeah, he did.
He said,
Oh yeah. Need that.
man,
What a time.
I'm sick of crying on this podcast, man.
This is a big milestone. Kayla starts crying.
I'm sick of it.
You just
done
decided to
with
just go ahead.
Wow.
Oh man.
And now
Man.
she gets to.
Pray us out.
Pray us out. Pray us into the new year.
Before you do that, we need to ask everyone to please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Subscribe to our YouTube. Follow our Spotify. Give it a rating. You know what I mean. Get us up there. That'd be pretty
3.5
cool.
stars, like my brother said.
Yeah, right.
He said 3.5, kind of boring.
Wow.
He did not.
Yeah, that's what he said during youth when we were talking to kids about it.
Wait until we do an episode on him. Just
Then he'll
wait.
Love it, yeah.
We aren't going to announce his name because he wants a shout out, and we said shout out for a shout out. So.
Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
As our podcast, our group, what are some like goals that you foresee us having? things that you want to see.
Recording on the beach.
Yes.
Recording on the beach would be pretty cool. An episode on the beach.
I think I want us to have special guests
Special guests. would be
Besides Titan.
besides Titan. Love Titan. He can come back. I love that for him.
But guess that can contribute.
cool. Right.
He contributed a lot. I love having him there. We can have him every episode, and I'd be okay with that. Man, I don't know.
I don't know.
Interaction with everyone that like actually watches the videos.
Yeah.
Like
That'd be
having
so cool.
questions or
Comment down
comments come
below.
in.
Yeah.
And
having
just
yeah.
having interaction.
Like a little
So,
Q&A.
I say Q&A episode.
Yeah.
Like being able to do like maybe not like a live podcast episode, but like a live episode of something. Like
Yeah.
where we can go live on
Or just hang out.
YouTube or something like that.
Yeah.
And we just talk and answer y'all's questions. Like that'd be awesome. I know for me, I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about this. I don't care about like the amount of following we have. But my biggest goal is just to be able to reach. Like I just want to be able to reach a lot of people and like be able to like share the love of Jesus, you know, and showing that like look how like diverse our group is. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to have like weird friend groups, and sometimes it's okay to like have thoughts that are like, okay, why am I thinking this? That you can share with your group and just
I didn't know
making.
we were the weird friend group.
Bro,
Wow.
look at us, bro. Anyway,
I didn't know
You just
that
keep
was
saying look at
us.
us, not like listen to us, like look at us.
No, look
Apparently
at
we're
us.
the weird looking.
okay, well, okay, listen to us too.
Speak for
Okay.
yourself, baby. I don't
Stop.
look weird.
Yeah, I want to make it feel like those of you watching at home is like a part of us at the table, just sitting down, like talking with us.
Yeah, like that we're not talking to you guys or at you guys.
Yeah.
We're
We're
like,
talking
we're
with you.
talking with
Yes.
you, bringing you into that conversation.
I think that's something I'm really excited for, is the community aspect.
Mhm.
I've never been like, man, we just gotta have people here. We just gotta invite people on and they can sit and talk with us. I've never been like that. I'm like, you stay over where you are, buddy. We can talk for 5 minutes and that is it. But the community aspect of this and the people who are gonna come along and be like, oh, this is so cool, or wow, you guys kind of suck. Like having that,
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
So yes, we do need topic ideas.
We do need topic
We
That's
want
so
ideas
interaction.
for sure.
Oh,
If you have a topic and like you don't know where to go with it, we don't typically know where to go with it.
we don't know what we're doing. We
you
just
can
look
tell by this
professional.
episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, oh man.
If you want Natalie to pray out every episode, comment below.
Yeah.
Don't do
How about
that.
this? Like 10 likes on this video.
Yeah.
And
10
Natalie
likes,
prays out.
Every
No
episode.
10
way.
likes and Natalie prays out the next episode. For
Mm.
every 10 likes, she has to pray out another episode.
We can't do that.
Sure we can.
We're gonna have fun with it.
Hold on. I said what I said. I'm
Okay.
I said
We'll make
what
sure it gets to 10 likes.
We'll make sure that happens.
So, okay.
We can do that on Sunday nights. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll
We
be
can get
okay.
more than 10 on Sunday nights.
Mhm.
You've already-
That'll be great.
You want to do like the outro part 2? Or do some just.
I think we've done that like 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like that was
Like,
kind
Tell them our
subscribe.
email, Ethan.
All of our social media, yes.
Yeah, tell them.
We're on Spotify. We're
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah?
We're on TikTok,
Wow.
Instagram,
Guys.
All of us.
and
That is blocked.
relax.
That's so sad.
No one's blocked. No one's blocked.
The videos are just unavailable to some members.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not
Anyway.
anything.
And we have an email.
An email.
Am I missing anything?
What's our email?
The email is official.whatoftimepodcast@gmail.com. You're able to send us questions, comments, concerns. We'll take them.
And
Read
funny
'em.
jokes.
Yes, and funny jokes because Kayla likes funny
I
jokes.
love a good joke. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Um,
Man.
and all of our social media is What a Time Podcast on everything that I just listed. So, yep. Send us ideas, you know? Okay, I'm going to just keep talking. Anyway.
Okay,
All
Natalie.
right, I have to press out so we can end this.
All right.
That's wild.
Bow your hands, close your eyes. Oh, wait. Just go.
Natalie, go.
Bow your hands. Bow your hands, everyone.
Okay. Anyway, Lord, first of all, I just want to thank you for this past year. Thank you. I feel like there's not much we can say, just full of gratitude, thankfulness, the fact that you even brought us here, the fact that we're all sitting here. Just thank you for giving us everything that we didn't deserve and some of the things we didn't even want or know we wanted. But thank you for just blessing us and blessing us in abundance. Lord, I pray that as we enter this new year, that we will just continue to seek you and recognize you as the same God who has been with us in our lowest parts and the same God who has brought us through in our highest parts of life, God. I pray that even in those high moments, we won't forget you, leave you behind, and think that we can get through it on our own, because you brought us here and we have no one else to thank but you for that. So, God, I pray that we just keep that in mind and remember that. I just pray a blessing over this year, that you will just be in every month, every day, every hour, and that we can look back on it and have no one else to thank but you for what's to come. Super excited for this year, super excited to see what you have in store for all of us. And thank you for allowing us to be sitting here and recording this podcast. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Amen. Wow.
All right. We out.